It's 2:17 a.m. Your phone buzzes on the nightstand. That sharp, insistent vibration that cuts through the deepest sleep. The screen glows in the dark bedroom, casting long shadows on the walls. It's an Amber Alert. A child is missing. Your heart sinks. You read the details. A name, a description, a license plate. Every gas station, every convenience store, every lamppost becomes a point of hope, a potential source for a crucial tip. Social media becomes a digital command center. The official police posts are shared thousands, then tens of thousands of times. People who can't physically search become digital detectives, scanning online forums, checking traffic cameras, and amplifying the message to every corner of the internet. It's a race against time, fueled by coffee, adrenaline, and an unwavering belief that every second counts. These are the tireless souls who organize new searches, who manage the social media pages, who make sure the family has food to eat and a shoulder to lean on. They become an extension of the family, a testament to the incredible power of human compassion. They refuse to let hope die. They know that the one person who saw something, the one detail that seems insignificant, could be the key that brings the child home. And sometimes, against all odds, it happens. A tip comes in. A truck driver who saw the Amber Alert on a highway sign hundreds of miles away spots the car. A store clerk recognizes the child from a flyer. A hiker stumbles upon something out of place in the woods. And then comes the call the family has been praying for. The moment of reunion is something that words can barely describe. It's a tidal wave of relief, joy, and overwhelming gratitude. It's the proof that even in the darkest of times, hope, community, and the refusal to give up can create miracles. But the response is always the same. A community that comes together to fight for one of its own. So, the next time your phone buzzes with an Amber Alert in the middle of the night, remember the unseen army that is already mobilizing. You could be the reason the family gets to be whole again. Thanks for watching. Have you ever noticed how our phones, these little glowing rectangles we carry everywhere, have become extensions of ourselves? They connect us. They inform us. They entertain us. But what if that connection turned against us? What if the very thing designed to bring us closer started to isolate us in the most terrifying way imaginable? Imagine this. You're driving down a quiet highway. Just the road and your thoughts. Or maybe you're settling into bed, ready to drift off to sleep. You could be in a cheap motel room. The hum of the air conditioner, the only sound. It doesn't matter where you are, who you are, or what you're doing. Suddenly, it happens. Your phone buzzes. Not constante, but a relentless, insistent vibration that seems to crawl under your skin. You glance at the screen. It's an alert, but not one you've ever seen before. It's not a weather warning or a news update. The message is simple, cryptic, and deeply unsettling. It reads, "He is cold." You try to dismiss it, swipe it away, but it's no use. The alert pops right back up, the vibration starting all over again. A feeling of unease begins to creep in. This isn't a glitch. This feels intentional. This feels personal. All across the country, in millions of different places, the same thing is happening. In bedrooms and cars, in quiet suburban homes and bustling city apartments, phones are buzzing in unison. A shared digital nightmare is unfolding. You try to turn off your phone, but it won't respond. The alert is persistent, a digital ghost that has taken over your device. You feel a growing sense of panic. Who is he? Why is he cold? And why is your phone, your personal window to the world, telling you this? Then, as you stare at the screen, the text changes. Slowly, letter by letter, a new message appears. He is crying. The unease you felt before now blossoms into genuine fear. This is more than just a strange message. It's an experience, an emotion being broadcast directly into your life. The line between your world and whatever this is has just been erased. The story doesn't end there. This is just the beginning of a rabbit hole that goes deeper than you can possibly imagine. We're exploring a phenomenon where technology becomes a conduit for something else. Something that wants to be seen, to be heard, to be felt. What if these alerts are just the first step? What if the messages become more desperate, more demanding? We're diving into the full story, piecing together the clues from this nationwide event, and trying to understand the origin of these chilling broadcasts. Who is the boy at the center of it all? And what does he want from us? The truth is far more complex and terrifying than a simple ghost in the machine. If you're intrigued by stories that blur the line between technology and the unknown, if you love a mystery that will keep you guessing until the very end, then you're in the right place. We're going to unravel this entire mystery, from the first alert to the final, shocking revelation. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because you won't want to miss a single part of this journey. What starts as a simple message on a phone screen will soon engulf everyone, and the question will no longer be what the message means, but how to survive it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next part. The fog rolled in thick and fast, a suffocating white blanket swallowing the endless ribbon of I-95. One moment, the world was a familiar blur of highway signs and the rhythmic thump of tires on asphalt. The next, it was gone, replaced by an eerie, silent whiteness that felt like the edge of the world. I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white, my eyes straining to pierce the impenetrable haze. The only signs of life were the faint, ghostly red glows of taillights ahead, appearing and disappearing like phantom signals in the mist. Suddenly, a piercing squeal of brakes cut through the silence. My own foot slammed down on the pedal, the car lurching to a stop just inches from the vehicle in front. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the sudden, heavy quiet. The air was cold, damp, and charged with an unseen tension. It felt like the world was holding its breath. And then, I saw it, or rather, I saw a shape. Through a momentary thinning of the fog, a small figure stood silhouetted against the diffused glow of the headlights. A child. Right there, in the middle of the highway. My mind struggled to make sense of it. A kid? Out here? In this weather? The fog swirled back, thickening around the figure, obscuring the details but not the impossible reality of its presence. The child's face was a dark oval, lost in shadow, but I could make out the clothes as simple, t-shirt and shorts, colors that seemed to almost blend, almost match the pale, gray light of the fog. An alert. A warning. My rational mind screamed that it was a trick of the light, a hallucination brought on by stress and the disorienting conditions. But my gut told me something else. The air grew colder. The silence deepened, broken only by the low hum of my engine and the frantic thumping of my own heart. The red taillights ahead had vanished completely now. I was alone with this apparition on the asphalt. The figure didn't move, it just stood there. A silent sentinel in the heart of the storm. Its shadowed face turned towards me. A million questions raced through my head. Was the child lost? Where? They? Earth? But an instinct, primal and powerful, kept my hand from the door handle. There was something profoundly wrong about this scene. Something that went beyond a simple lost child. I fumbled for my phone, my fingers clumsy and shaking. Who do you even call for something like this? 911. There's a kid standing in the fog on I-95. They'd think I was crazy. Maybe I was. I looked up again, half expecting, half hoping the figure would be gone. It wasn't. It was closer. It hadn't walked. It hadn't run. It was just closer, as if the distance between us had shrunk on its own. The fog seemed to cling to the small form. Mobbing weeded a personal shroud of mist. My breath hitched in my throat. This wasn't a child. This was something else entirely. Every horror movie cliché I'd ever scoffed at came flooding back. Don't get out of the car. Don't investigate the strange noise. Lock the doors. I frantically checked my locks, the click echoing unnaturally loud in the cabin. The figure was at the edge of my headlights now, close enough that I should have been able to see a face, eyes, any sign of life. But there was nothing. Just that same shadowed void where a face should be. The clothes, I noticed, with a fresh jolt of fear, weren't just similar to the fog. They seemed woven from it, their edges indistinct and wavering. A low, scraping sound started from my right. My head whipped around. Nothing. Just the passenger door and the swirling wall of white outside. The sound came again, closer this time. Scrab-up, like fingernails, dragging slowly along the metal side of the car. My blood ran cold. I couldn't see anything, but I could hear it. I could feel it. The slow, deliberate drag moving from the passenger side, around the back of the car. I didn't dare look in the rearview mirror. I knew, with a certainty that defied all logic, that I would see that shadowed face looking back at me. The scraping stopped right behind my driver's side door. The silence that followed was worse than the sound itself. I was trapped, a sitting duck in a metal box, waiting for the inevitable. The handle jiggled. Once, twice. Then a soft, gentle tapping began on the glass, right beside my head. Tap. 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 I squeezed my eyes shut, praying for it all to be a nightmare. But the tapping didn't stop. It was patient. It was waiting, and I knew, sooner or later, I would have to open my eyes. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the next part of the story. Ever found yourself doom scrolling late at night? Your thumbs just flicking, 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 until you stumble upon something odd. Something that makes the hair on your arms stand up. I'm talking about those weird corners of the internet. The ones that feel like they shouldn't exist. Today, we re-diving headfirst into one of the most unsettling online mysteries I've ever encountered. The story of the Wanderer S-Map. It all started on a forgotten forum, a place where people share tales of strange discoveries. A user, let's call him Alex, posted about a bizarre app he found. It wasn't on any app store. He got it from a link, a random comment on a travel blog. The app was called Wanderer's Map. Its interface was simple, almost primitive, just a black screen with a single white dot, supposedly representing the user's location. Alex thought it was a prank, a poorly designed navigation tool. But then he noticed something strange. The dot on his screen wasn't just tracking him, it was leading him. Little notifications would pop up, simple commands like turn left or walk forward. He played along, thinking it was a kind of urban exploration game. The first few routes were harmless, leading him to interesting local spots he'd never seen before, like a hidden garden or a piece of street art tucked away in an alley. It was fun, adventurous even. But the destinations started getting weirder. The map led him to an abandoned factory on the outskirts of town, then to a derelict house where locals said a family had vanished years ago. Each time, The final notification was the same. Look closer. Inside the factory, he found a child's shoe, perfectly preserved. In the abandoned house, a single, faded photograph of a smiling family was left on a dusty mantelpiece. It felt like a macabre scavenger hunt, and Alex was hooked, documenting his finds for the forum. The community was buzzing. Some were thrilled, others terrified. They begged him to stop, warning him that he was playing with something he didn't understand. But Alex was obsessed. The thrill was too much to resist. The next destination the app gave him was the creepiest yet. An old, overgrown cemetery, miles from his home. The instructions led him through crumbling tombstones to a freshly dug, empty grave. And there, at the bottom, was a single, mud-caked smartphone, identical to his own. The final notification on his screen popped up. Your turn. Panicked, Alex tried to delete the app. It wouldn't uninstall. He tried to factory reset his phone, but the app was still there when it rebooted. The white dot on the screen started moving on its own, heading away from the cemetery, back towards his house. Alex was miles away, stranded, watching his own digital ghost race home. He started running, a desperate sprint against his own location marker. The forum was blowing up with messages. Get out of there. Don't go home. He finally made it back to his neighborhood, exhausted and terrified. He saw his car parked outside his house, just as he'd left it. He fumbled for his keys, his hands shaking. As he reached for the car door, his phone, which he'd clutched the whole way, lit up one last time. It wasn't a notification from the app. It was a message that filled the entire screen in stark, blocky letters. Do not stop. And just below it, another line appeared. You were not the first. He looked up at his house, and in the window, he saw a small child looking back at him. I say watch it. The child's eyes turned completely, unnaturally black. Alex's posts stopped that night. His account went silent. No one knows what happened to him. Was it a hoax? A brilliantly crafted horror story? Or did Alex truly stumble upon an app that hunts its users? The Wanderer's Map has become a legend, a cautionary tale about the dark things that can lie hidden just a click away. So next time you're tempted by a strange link in a comments section, maybe think twice. You never know where it might lead you. Thanks for watching, and if you have any theories, drop them in the comments below. Stay safe out there. The air in my apartment has felt heavy lately. It started subtly, a chill that had nothing to do with the weather. Then came the whispers, faint at first, like the wind rustling through leaves. But there are no trees near my window. I'd be washing dishes and hear a soft giggle, just on the edge of my hearing. I'd turn around, heart pounding, but there was never anyone there. I tried to dismiss it, tell myself I was just tired, overworked. But the feeling of being watched never went away. It was a constant, prickling sensation on the back of my neck. Then, the objects started moving. Small things at first. A pan rolling off my desk when I wasn't looking. A book falling from a shelf with a loud thud in the middle of the night. I'd find cupboard doors slightly ajar, doors I knew I had closed. It felt like a game, a very slow, very unsettling game, and I was the only one playing. I even started leaving little chalk marks on things, just to prove to myself I wasn't going crazy. The next morning, the marks would be smudged, the objects just an inch from where I left them. Last night was different. I woke up with a jolt, not from a noise, but from the silence. The usual city hum was gone. It was a dead, suffocating quiet. I sat up in bed, my eyes adjusting to the darkness, and that's when I saw him, a small boy, standing in the doorway of my bedroom. He was translucent, shimmering like a heat wave off summer pavement. He couldn't have been more than 7 or 8. He just stood there, looking at me with these incredibly sad, dark eyes. He didn't say anything. He didn't have to. The cold that radiated from him was a language all its own. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I just stared back, my entire body frozen in a mix of terror and a strange, overwhelming pity. He lifted a small, ghostly hand and pointed towards the living room, towards the television. Then, just as suddenly as he appeared, he faded away, leaving behind only the cold spot in the air and the frantic beating of my own heart. It took me hours to get out of bed, to force my trembling legs to carry me into the living room. Everything was just as I'd left it, except for the remote. It was on the floor, right in front of the TV. This morning, I felt compelled to turn on the news. I don't know why. I never watch morning television, but his silent gesture from last night, I couldn't get it out of my head. I grabbed my coffee, my hand still shaking, and clicked the power button. And that's when I saw it. A breaking news report. Police tape across a familiar-looking highway. The headline flashed across the screen. Missing child case from 2015 resurfaces. My blood ran cold. They showed a photo of the missing boy. It was him. The boy from my doorway. The date on the photo read 10 years ago. 10 years. My coffee mug slipped from my fingers, shattering on the floor. He hasn't been just visiting. He's been trying to tell me something. The phone vibrates again, just like before, that piercing, unmistakable tone. Another Amber Alert cuts through the silence of the night. But this one is different. It's not a description of a car, not a license plate number, not a last seen location. It's just 5 words. 5 words that freeze the blood in your veins. He is still out there. What does that mean, War sent this? Is this a glitch? A hack? Or is it a warning? A personal, terrifying message disguised as a public safety announcement. The implications are staggering. It suggests the system, the very thing designed to protect us, has been compromised, turned into a tool for terror. Think about it. The Amber Alert system is a network we trust implicitly. When it goes off, we pay attention. We look, we share, we help. It's a collective effort, a digital neighborhood watch. But what happens when that trust is broken? What if the hunter can now use the shepherd's call to stalk the flock? This isn't just about one missing person anymore. This is about the weaponization of our own safety net. The alert wasn't for a stranger. It was for you. It was for everyone. A broadcast to the entire population that the monster isn't just on the loose. He's playing a game, and he's using the rules we created against us. This goes beyond a simple kidnapping. This is psychological warfare on a massive scale. The message is clear. Nowhere is safe. No one is coming to save you, because the system itself is compromised. The alert says he is still out there. It creates a universal boogeyman. It could be anyone. The person walking past your house, the car idling at the corner, the shadow you thought you saw in the alley. The alert doesn't give you a face to look for. It tells you to be afraid of every face. It turns every neighbor into a potential suspect, every stranger into a potential threat. It isolates us in our own homes, glued to our screens, waiting for the next notification, the next move in this horrifying game. And the most chilling part, the simplicity. He is still out there. It's not a frantic plea for help. It's a calm, cold statement of fact. It implies a sense of control, of power. The sender isn't panicking. They're watching. They're waiting. They're enjoying this. They've turned millions of phones into personal horror devices, delivering fear directly into the palm of your hand. The first alert was a mystery. This one is a declaration. The game has changed. It's not about finding a missing person anymore. It's about surviving the person who is now hunting everyone. So what do? Do you turn off the alerts? Do you ignore the very system designed to help, knowing it might be a trap? Or do you leave it on, living in a constant state of dread, waiting for the next message? The screen fades to black, but the alert remains burned into your mind. That notification isn't just on the phone anymore. It's in your head. It's the new sound of the dark. A constant, vibrating reminder that you are not safe, and he is still out there. What do you think happens next? Let me know your theories in the comments. Thanks for watching.